Good evening and welcome to the news. His Majesty King Abdullah highlighted economic reforms, the need to respect the rule of law and the situation in the region during a meeting with the Speaker of the Lower House of Parliament and heads of its committees. The King said the ongoing fiscal and economic reforms should protect low-income citizens and empower the middle class. He said addressing public debt is a priority, but spurring growth is the key to moving forward. His Majesty said government-parliament cooperation is important to press ahead with development plans and bolster the national economy. King Abdullah said the kingdom's prime challenges include the economy, poverty and unemployment, as well as the protection of the poor and middle class. It is everyone's duty, he said, to address these challenges. The King said the income tax law, which still needs to be passed, must address tax evasion. Addressing public sector institutions' responsibilities, His Majesty said they should draw up programs and strategies to stimulate growth and develop human resources. He said public institutions require broad and radical reforms, highlighting the need for transparency in advancing the reform process. His Majesty also stressed the need to respect the rule of law and the judiciary, expressing total rejection of any interference by any deputy or official in its work. On the Palestinian-Israeli issue, His Majesty said Jordan has not and will never spare any effort to support Palestinians in their just cause, asserting that the region will not enjoy stability without reaching a just and lasting solution to the Palestinian issue. While on Syria, the King said the tripartite agreement between Jordan, the US and Russia for a ceasefire and the establishment of a de-escalation zone in southern Syria would contribute to a political solution and protect Jordanian interests. The General Intelligence Department said it had foiled a massive terrorist plot by a Daesh-backed cell last November that planned to carry out a series of attacks on security installations, shopping malls, and moderate religious figures. The Intelligence Department arrested 17 members of the cell and confiscated weapons and explosives planned to be used in several operations. GID said cell members plan to execute a number of terrorist attacks simultaneously to destabilize national security and spread terror among citizens. They plan to wage a series of bank robberies and car thefts to get financing and manufacture homemade explosives from material bought from the local market. All 17 plotters were interrogated and will be put on trial in a military court. During today's cabinet meeting, Minister of Labour Ali Al-Ghazawi briefed ministers on yesterday's attack on a production manager by a group of outlaws. Prime Minister Hani Al-Mulqi said that although the attack on the investor was an isolated incident, it was an attack on the state, stressing that it was unacceptable and alien to Jordanian values. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Ayman Al-Safadi briefed EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini on the outcome of last Saturday's ministerial meeting that was hosted by Jordan to discuss means to tackle the repercussions of the US decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. During the phone conversation, Safadi and Mogherini agreed to launch serious and effective efforts to solve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict on the basis of a two-state solution and international legitimacy resolutions. The foreign minister highlighted the importance of the EU's role in ending the stalemate in the peace process to achieve just and permanent peace in the region. Minister of Industry, Trade and Supply Ya'rub Qda announced that new bread prices will go into effect as of February 1st and will be valid for a whole year. The cost of flat bread will range between 32 and 40 piastres per kilogram, while the prices of other bakery products will remain the same. Speaker of the lower house of parliament, Atif al-Tarawneh, called for setting up a strategy to address economic investment, agricultural, construction and industrial problems. In a meeting with a Jordanian Businessmen Association delegation, Tarawneh stressed the importance of addressing customs and tax evasion and administrative bloat. He also called for accelerating economic growth to deal with economic challenges facing the kingdom in light of the regional situation. Jordan delivered humanitarian aid to Rukban refugee camp on the Syrian side of the Jordanian-Syrian border. The Jordanian Armed Forces supervised the delivery of aid in coordination with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The initiative comes at the request of the United Nations following the deteriorating situation in Rukban after the northern and northeastern border with Syria was declared a closed military zone. In sports, Barcelona's record signing Felipe Coutinho said it was an easy decision to join Barcelona, as he was presented before the club's fans after Barca agreed a club record $192 million deal with Liverpool on Saturday. Coutinho said he was looking forward to playing alongside his childhood friend Neymar and to meet Messi, though the Brazilian will not be able to make his debut for the club for about 3 weeks because of thigh injury he sustained while at Liverpool.
La Supercopa d'Itàlia el 2010-2011, la Copa d'Itàlia el 10 i el 11 i el Mundial Sub-20.
Es el Barça, es el mejor equipo del mundo.
And 3 times Grand Slam champion Andy Murray has undergone a successful hip surgery and is determined to return to action in time for this year's Wimbledon tournament. The 30-year-old Briton posted an update on Facebook giving notice of the operation to solve his injury problems. Murray has not played a competitive match for 6 months. He withdrew first from the Brisbane International and then last week from the Australian Open. And finally, a look at the weather. It will continue to be cold tonight with possible frost formation in the Badia and the eastern plains. A rise in temperature is expected tomorrow, but it remains relatively cold across many regions and fair in the Jordan Valley and the Dead Sea. Amman can expect a high of 13 degrees Celsius and a low of 6, while in the Gulf of Aqaba, fair conditions will prevail with a high of 20, sliding down to 8 degrees at night. With this, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Dana Abu Sham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.